Hey there, do you dream of escaping into a book? Maybe your escape includes a cozy cabin in the mountains or a magical town along the coast. Either way, you're in the right place. Welcome to Literary Escapes with me, Becky. This year on the podcast, we're exploring the United States. So every week I'm going to bring you a new book set in a different state. So let's see where we're going today. So welcome back to the Literary Escapes podcast. I have Judy Corry with me today. Welcome, Judy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. You are part of my Read Across the U.S. book club. And this week you are our author of the week, and we are in Connecticut with you.
Yay.
Now, you don't live in Connecticut, right?
No, I do not. I live in Utah, and I've never actually been to Connecticut. I lived in central New York for a little time, so I'm not too far away
That's
from
not very
it.
far, yeah.
But yeah, I never actually went to Connecticut.
So how do you, I guess, why did you choose Connecticut for your location, for your setting?
I wanted a place that was really pretty, had some old older buildings, but also could have newer stuff. Also, I loved, Gilmore Girls and the whole vibe of that. And so I'm like, I want to create my own kind of like Stars Hollow town. And so yeah, I did that, and I wanted a prep school, which, there's more of those there. And also just kind of have the ability to go to New York City if I wanted to. And
it has to be within proximity, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's only like an hour train ride.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of why I picked it.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. And so do you have a big desire to go to Connecticut now that you've written all about it?
Yes, definitely. I like a few years ago when I first started writing this series, I would talk, like, me and my husband would go on walks, and I'm like, it would just be so fun to just, like, I don't know, go visit Connecticut for a summer and just enjoy, and see what it's all about. And haven't done that yet, but maybe one day
that would
it
be
will
fun.
happen.
Yeah. It's especially in the fall or summer, that just seems like it would be so beautiful up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I also enjoyed watching the Good Witch show, and that's also set, I think I've read it was set in Connecticut. Maybe it's not, maybe I just made that up, but it's also really pretty too. So I'm just like, it just looks pretty.
This
I
is
want
the
to go.
vibe I want. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that. Okay. Yeah, my daughter moved up to Massachusetts a little over a year ago, and I think we drove through Connecticut on our way there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's that whole clump of states that
they're right there.
kind of blink and you're done. So, so okay. And so let's start at the beginning, I guess. How did you become an author?
So I started writing in 2012. I never knew, growing up that I wanted to be a writer. Like, there was like a time in fourth grade where I started my first book, but it was only like a page and a half, and then I went on with my life.
A lot of writing at that age.
Yeah, and it was funny enough though, because my first book that I actually published ended up having a similar storyline as that one that I started in fourth grade. So I guess it really stuck with me.
That's really funny. I like it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I didn't take any special writing classes or anything like that in college. I just did the minimal English stuff. And then I had kids, and then I was 26 and I had 3 kids, and I was like, I need something for myself because I'm going a little crazy.
Amen.
And I loved reading. Like, that's what nap time was all about, reading. And nighttime, anytime I was doing that. And so I'm like, well, maybe I would like to try writing a book. Maybe I can do it. But I still was kind of like nervous. I put it off for a while longer. And then I went in to this event where an author was talking about like how she got into writing, and I'm like, oh, her background's kind of similar to mine. Like, if she could do it, then maybe I can do it. So then I actually got a little more serious and thought up of a story idea, and just tried to figure it out as I went, and listened to podcasts, went to some writing conferences, and eventually figured it out. But I wrote a few books before I actually was published. So it took like 5 years to really like figure it out and figure out kind of what I was doing. And then my first books came out in 2017. And since then, I've published 19 books. So
That's amazing. So are you indie published or traditionally published?
yeah, so my first book came out. It was published through one of Amazon's publishing companies at the time.
Okay.
And so that was how I got my start. But I also had a couple other books written at the same that were ready to go, and I didn't want to wait. So I'm like,
Right.
well, I'll try publishing them and see which way does better.
Mm-hmm.
And my indie published books did better than that one. So I'm like, well,
Guess
I'll
what?
just do this. And I like having control, and I like publishing what I want to publish. And
Yeah, when you want. Yeah.
yeah, not having the pressure of a publisher, like expecting things. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So I'm just like, it worked for me really well.
I
And
like that.
so,
Yeah, I can understand that. And one of the things I really love about talking to authors is hearing how all the different ways that people come to being an author.
mhm,
And you don't have to have a special degree or a special anything. You
mhm.
just have to have a good imagination, a lot of perseverance,
Yes.
willing to be really crappy at writing initially.
Mhm, mhm.
And but you can do it. And I
Yeah.
love hearing that. And
Mhm.
um
And like all of our life experiences, like they all come into it and help us be a better writer. Like
exactly, yeah.
my major in college was family life and human development, and so I took a lot of psychology classes. So I tell myself that it helped me. Like I have to get in the characters'
Yeah,
minds, and so even though if it wasn't necessarily in like English or creative writing or anything, it still helps.
I like that. So you write, is it all young adult, new adult type stuff?
So I have like 14 young adult, and then 5 contemporary romances, which
Okay.
the characters are all adults. And then the series that I'm starting right now is also going to be adult.
Okay.
So yeah, they're all closed door. I always feel funny like saying they're adult because it
Yeah,
has
right.
different
There's
meanings to different
potential
people.
implications, but yeah.
Yeah, but they're all closed door romances. But yeah, I've done a ton
Nice.
of YA, and I'm moving back to the adult ones, which is fun.
Okay. Okay. And so the book that you have for the book club this week is called The Facade, and
Hmm.
it is part of a YA series, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Tell us about the series, and then we'll talk more specifically about the book.
Okay. Yeah. So this series it features a bunch of like a group of friends that are all at the same private boarding school, and um, and so we get to see each member of the friend group have their romance. So it starts with these identical twins that move in to the new boarding school so that they can I liked that way that they're new to the school too, so that the readers could be introduced to the school at the same time as them and
Right,
kind of
right.
get to know that world. But it starts with one of the twins, and she has a math tutor who is grumpy and the son of a billionaire, and he's just kind of, he's not going to date anyone this year. And but so then he even has a rule that he doesn't date the girls that he tutors in math. And the twin
Good
is
rule.
his the girl that he's tutoring, and she's like, well, I wouldn't want to date you anyway either. Anyway, but then it comes out that she sees that he might need a fake girlfriend at least, and she's like, well, we already have this rule, so we're definitely not going to fall in love. And you wouldn't ever deign to date someone like me anyways. I'm too dumb for you because you're whatever.
That's so
And
funny.
yeah, and so then they do that, and of course
Of course, they
romance
fall in love.
might happen. So yeah,
Yeah. So at the academy, what age range are your characters?
they're all, well, most of them are seniors. In the Facade, which is the second book and the one that's in this thing, the female character is a junior, and her brother's best friend is the male main character, and he's a senior.
Okay,
So
so 18, 19, 17, somewhere in that range.
yeah,
Okay.
so she's, I think, maybe 16, and then he is 17
Okay.
in the book. So
Nice. Okay. Very cool. So tell us about the facade.
okay, so that one, it features Mac and Cambrielle, and so Mac has been, well, first so his mom has cancer, has a brain tumor, and so it's kind of, he's having a hard time dealing with that, and it's not looking like she has, very much time left.
Okay.
And so she's going in for special treatments to try to help anyway. So so his mom and dad are going to get treatments, and he needs a place to stay for the week. And so he is next door neighbors with Cambrielle and best friends with her brothers. And so he is going to be staying at their house for the week. But since everything is going on, he's not sleeping the best, and he ends up sleepwalking. And he sleepwalks into her room, and she's like, this is not okay. She like tries to get him out, but he's like 6'5", and she's barely over 5 foot, and she cannot she can't move him around. She doesn't want to cause like a major disturbance if he like wakes up. Anyway, so he ends up staying in her bed, but she makes a wall of pillows so that things are good and okay. And then then they, there's kind of sneaking around and trying to keep things okay. But he's the guy that she's always had a crush on, but knew there was no chance. He only saw her as his best friend's dorky little sister. Anyway, they hang out and they kind of help each other out. And it also does deal with his everything he's going through with his mom's getting, towards the end of her life. And so it is a bit,
that's interesting. Because
and hard. But I try to keep a balance of like lighthearted moments, but also dealing with the hard stuff that comes with life.
That's, kids deal with hard stuff, and
and I've had a few. It's
important that books deal with that. So
I've had several readers tell me that they connected a lot with the story because they've actually gone through similar things. And so
okay. That's
so I make sad stories and love stories, and it's
that's the first book that I wrote. The main character's mom died from dementia, and she had been dealing, she had been taking care of her mom. So it's all, a lot of my friends are going through that at the moment. I'm sure
I had
in a few years, whether it's parents or grandparents or it's part of life, and it's important to talk about. So
and it's nice to sometimes be able to have, even if it's a fictional character, to connect with, and
to see how someone else deals with it.
And it helps other people who may not have gone through it get
empathize
empathize and understand that there are hard things going on with everyone, and we just don't always know.
That's a really good thing. So your other series and your adult contemporary books, where are they all set?
So my Ridgewater High series is set in New York. Well, Ridgewater, New York. It's a fictional town in central New York. I did that because I lived there, and I kind of based the town off of the one that I'd lived in.
Nice. Okay.
And then the Rich and Famous series is kind of set in multiple places. There's one that's in California, and then three that are in like the Denver, and also a little small town outside of Denver. And then another one is in Southern Utah in that series. And then my new series is the Kings of Eden Falls series. And that one is actually like a spin-off of my Eden Falls Academy series. So it's set in the same town in Connecticut. And it just features like the older brothers of a lot of the characters that were in that first series.
That's fun.
I fell in love with that world a lot, and I'm like, I'm not.
That's a good way to do it. And especially the people who've read it want to probably stay in that world.
Hopefully they'll get a little attached, and they'll just never want to leave.
I like that. I personally loved series, and especially if there's a spinoff that keeps you in the world a little longer. I think that's just brilliant. So
and it's fun.
We appreciate when authors do that.
And I love bringing in like the other characters and giving them a little cameo and a little update on where they are now. And
I like that. It's fun to as a reader and a writer to touch base with old friends from the previous books. So and that's kind of fun.
They're happily ever after kind of stuck a little bit, so that's good.
And so happily ever after. So if you're writing YA and it's young kids,
Mhm.
is it a happily ever after, or how do you, I mean, I guess you just
In
stop the story, but
yeah, some of them I have like epilogues or bonus epilogues where it shows them a few years later and they're still
okay.
together and shows, what's going on in that time of life. I guess I am me and my husband met in high school and
That's
dated
so
a little, so I'm
crazy.
just like, young adult romance is real, so I'm gonna
That's
write
awesome.
it.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's hard to even imagine, but that's awesome.
yeah, so it works in my world,
Okay.
and I try to give a little, 6 years later or whatever, they're
Hmm.
still together and happy. So
That's fun. Okay.
yeah,
I like
it's
that.
just magical that the whole friend group, they ended up with their high school sweethearts. Believe that.
That's awesome. I enjoy that. Well, maybe one of them will break up and
Yeah,
they'll be in the new series,
yeah, who
finding their
knows?
new love or something.
Yeah, no, I can never break them apart. They're together forever. So
I like
I'm gonna
that.
write about their kids and everything. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Is it just a town of friend group, or is it like a family, or
So in Eat Falls Academy, there are 3 siblings in it. So Carter and Cambrielle from the first book so Carter's from the first book, Cambrielle is the second book. They're siblings, and then Nash is their brother, and his story is in book 5.
okay.
So those are and then Ava and Elise are identical twins, and so they are book 1 and 3. And then there is half brothers and step brothers also, and so and
Nice.
some that
Okay.
didn't know they were related until they find out in the books. So
There you go.
yeah, but no one that is related gets together because that's not
That's
not
probably
happening.
good.
Yeah. I like forbidden romance, but not that forbidden. So
Yeah, that's a whole different genre.
yeah.
We steer clear of that.
Yeah.
Um, well, cool. So, do you hang out on social media where readers can find you?
Yeah, so I'm most active on Instagram. And so that's at Judy Corry. But I'm also on TikTok, and that's the same handle at Judy Corry. And then
Okay.
Facebook, I'm probably author Judy Corry, or I don't know, something like that. So I'm there, not quite as much as
Hmm.
I am on the other places, but Instagram is the one that I'm definitely
Okay.
more active on.
Very
So
cool. And so, what are you working on right now, or what do you have coming out anytime soon?
I'm working on a book called Hideaway with You, and it is a brother's best friend, bodyguard, fake step siblings, second chance, romance.
Got it all in there. I like it.
Yeah, it's been fun to try to figure out. And but it's book 1 in my Kings of Eden Falls series, and
Okay.
yeah, it comes out April 17th.
Nice.
So a couple months away, and hopefully I can finish it in time. So it's really
I totally
exciting.
understand that.
Yeah, the first half is with my editor right now, so it's getting there.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been fun,
Fun.
and I'm hoping readers will like this new world, but spin off of the old world. So
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, awesome. I will make sure to put your Instagram, TikTok handles in the show notes
awesome.
and link to your books on Amazon. Do you sell in other places other than Amazon, or mostly just
Yeah,
Amazon?
yeah. So I'm on most book platforms.
Okay.
My paperbacks, I still need to get them everywhere, but so they're all on Amazon. That's the best place to
Okay.
find those. But yeah, the ebooks should be everywhere.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Judy. It was a lot of fun
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Well, and thanks for being our Connecticut stop on our road trip around the country.
Of course. I'm excited to meet all the other places through all the other
Yeah,
books.
yeah, I think you're our sixth stop in our road trip. So we've got a whole country to go.
Yeah.
Well, have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Thanks for joining me today. If you'd like to be part of the Read Across the U.S. Book Club, I'd love to have you join us. There is a link in the show notes, so just head down there and click and we will welcome you in. So see you in the book club, I hope. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week with a new episode.